Before you buy that ticket, retreat inward for a brief moment. The world may appear busy, loud, and demanding, but in the silence of your mind lies the true power. It is not the act of buying that creates the miracle, it is the state you carry into that act. Say this quietly within yourself, not with anxious hope, but with calm certainty. It is already mine. In that instant, you are no longer a seeker, no longer a beggar of fortune, but the possessor of wealth. The outer purchase becomes only a shadow of what was already completed in spirit. The moment you assume the feeling of the winner, the universe bends to your silent decree. You do not force it. You do not strain. You simply breathe into the assurance that what you desire is already accomplished. For the invisible word spoken in silence is more powerful than 1,000 shouts in the marketplace. Do not look at chance, odds, or statistics. Those belong to the doubting mind. Look instead at the end, the celebration, the relief, the joy, the wealth already flowing into your hands. See yourself receiving, living, enjoying. Let that image be vivid, alive, and felt in your heart. Then with gratitude, seal it. Whisper within, thank you, it is done. Gratitude anchors the unseen into the seen, transforming wish into fact. You have already received it in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. Now, step forward and make your purchase, not as one hoping to win, but as one who has already won. For the lottery is not decided by numbers alone, it is decided by the unseen law of assumption. And when you walk in silence, declaring it yours, the outer must reflect the inner. What you say within yourself is infinitely more powerful than what you say out loud. The inner word is the invisible architect of your outer reality. Before any action is taken, before any step is made, there is always a seed planted in consciousness. That seed is your silent affirmation, your inner conversation, and your private agreement with yourself. The world you see is not random. It is a mirror of those unseen whispers. Each word silently spoken is alive with creative power, shaping circumstances, guiding chance, and bending reality to the tone of your inner voice. When you affirm in silence, you are giving life to an image in your imagination. That image does not remain idle. It clothes itself in events, situations, and outcomes. Think of the farmer who plants a seed beneath the soil. To the eye, nothing has happened, but beneath the surface, life is stirring, roots are spreading, and soon a sprout will emerge. So it is with the inner word. It may appear invisible at first, but it is already creating. The moment you say inwardly, I am blessed, I am wealthy, I have received, you have set the cause in motion, and nothing can return void to you except the very word you spoke. The error most make is to speak defeat inwardly while hoping for victory outwardly. They may buy the ticket, start the business, or take the chance, but inwardly they whisper doubts. What if I fail? What if it doesn't happen? What if I lose? Those unseen conversations are the real authors of the outcome, not the actions themselves. The action is merely the echo. The true cause is invisible, and it always begins within. If your inner word is one of fear, then the harvest will be fear clothed as loss. If your inner word is one of faith, then the harvest will be faith, clothed as success. Before you act, pause and listen to your silence. What is it saying? Is it repeating worry or is it declaring certainty? If you do not like what it whispers, change it deliberately. Replace the silent I can't with I already have. Replace what if it doesn't work with it is already done. You are not lying to yourself. You are planting a new seed. Just as the farmer does not call the seed a lie because he cannot see the tree yet, so must you trust the power of your silent word. Every great transformation begins with this invisible decree. The outer act is only the shadow, but the inner affirmation is the substance. Speak wealth, health, love, and success in silence before you take the step. Speak as though it has already happened, for life has no choice but to reflect what you consistently affirm within. Your inner word is the law, the seed, and the cause. The outer result is only its harvest. Guard that inner voice, for it is writing the script of your. To assume possession first is to live in the reality of your desire before the world confirms it. It is to carry within you the feeling of already having what you seek, to hold the winning ticket in imagination before your hand ever touches the paper. The mind that assumes creates. The heart that believes receives. Every outcome you long for must be claimed in consciousness before it can appear in your experience. The outer act of purchasing is secondary. The true act of possession takes place in the unseen chamber of your mind. Most people approach life backwards. They wait for evidence before they allow themselves to feel the joy of attainment. They wait for the win to feel like a winner, the money to feel wealthy, the love to feel loved. But this waiting posture is the very reason they remain without. The law of life demands that you first feel yourself in possession, that you first embody the state of having, and only then will the world mirror that state back to you. The winning ticket is not paper. It is a vibration, an inner declaration, a felt reality within. Before you step forward to make your purchase, close your eyes and enter the end. See yourself holding the result, not with desperate longing, but with quiet satisfaction. Imagine the weight of it in your hands, the numbers shining as proof of your fortune. Hear the laughter, the congratulations, the sound of celebration that follows. Let it be real to you now, so real that when you open your eyes, the outer act of buying becomes nothing more than a formality. You are not buying to become a winner. You are buying because you are already one. This shift is subtle yet mighty. To the doubter, it may look like mere fantasy, but to the one who understands, it is the only true reality. For everything in your world springs from the state you occupy. If you dwell in the state of lack, you will purchase and still lack. If you dwell in the state of possession, you will purchase and receive. The act is the same, but the result changes because the state behind it has changed. Do not concern yourself with odds or probabilities, for they belong to the outer realm. Concern yourself only with your assumption. The law bends to the one who claims first and waits for no permission. The ticket is already yours in consciousness. The numbers are already aligned in your favor. By the time your hand reaches into your pocket, the outcome has already been secured within. When you assume possession first, you walk with a quiet authority. You are no longer hoping, no longer begging. You are simply fulfilling in the physical what has already been decreed in the invisible. And the invisible is the true cause of all visible effects. Enter the state, hold it, and act from it. That is how the winning ticket finds its rightful owner. You. Silence holds a sacred power that the noise of the outer world cannot touch. In silence, the mind is uncluttered, the heart is open, and the spirit speaks with authority. The quiet utterance you make within yourself carries far more weight than the loud proclamations you make with your lips. Words spoken outwardly may impress others, but the inner word spoken in silence is what impresses upon reality itself. It is within that stillness where creation begins, for silence is the gateway between thought and manifestation. I have news for you. Your mind. When you speak loudly to the world, you may sound convincing, but if within you there is doubt, fear, or contradiction, the outer sound is powerless. The universe does not respond to volume, it responds to vibration. It listens not to what you shout, but to what you whisper when no one hears. That inner whisper is your true prayer, your true command, and your true decree. It is in silence that you speak, directly to the source of life, bypassing all appearances, all logic, all probability. In silence, you stand face to face with pure possibility. Think of the times you have silently told yourself, "I can't do this," or "I will fail." Without realizing it, those private words became law in your experience. They carried you to the very outcomes you dreaded. Why? Because the inner word is creative. It bypasses the mask you wear in front of others and reveals the belief you secretly hold. Now imagine reversing that process. Instead of silently affirming limitation, you begin to affirm success, wealth, and certainty within. You do not announce it outwardly. You do not argue with the world. You simply speak it quietly in the stillness of your mind. That silent declaration will move mountains, while outer noise will move nothing. Silence also strips away resistance. When you affirm loudly, the mind may rise with objections. Doubts echo back, arguments surface, and you feel tension between what you say and what you believe. But in silence, the words slip beneath the surface, planting themselves deep in the soil of imagination where no resistance can uproot them. The quiet utterance does not provoke the conscious mind. It bypasses it, sinking directly into the subconscious where creation is set in motion. This is why moments of stillness before action are so important. Before you buy, before you act, before you step into the world, pause and whisper inwardly the reality you desire. Say it softly with conviction, as though no one but the Eternal hears you, and then carry that silent decree into your action. The power is not in how much you say, but in how deeply you believe the few words you utter in quiet. The gateway of silence is always open. It requires no ritual, no outward display, no audience. It requires only that you turn inward and declare with certainty what you know to be true in the unseen. When you honor the silence, you hold the master key, for the quiet inner utterance builds the world you see. The mind alone can picture a desire, but it is the heart that gives it life. Imagination paints the scene, yet feeling breathes power into it. Without feeling, an affirmation remains a hollow shell, mere words with no pulse. But when you attach emotion to your silent affirmation, you activate the secret code that speaks directly to creation. The universe does not respond to idle thoughts, it responds to the vibration of emotion. Feeling is the proof that what you have declared is real to you now. When you whisper silently, "I am wealthy," the words alone may carry little force if they are not felt. But when you saturate them with gratitude, joy, and certainty, you make them alive. The emotion fuses with the word, creating a signal strong enough to bridge the gap between the invisible and the visible. Emotion is the fuel that carries your desire from imagination to reality. It transforms repetition into conviction and belief into experience. Think of a time when you were deeply in love, or when you felt overwhelming gratitude. In those moments, the feeling was so powerful that it colored everything you saw. Even ordinary events seemed brighter, lighter, and full of meaning. That is the same energy you must carry into your affirmations. If you say, I have already received, but feel empty, the words fall flat. But if you say it with the thrill of victory, with the joy of possession, then it becomes a living seed, planted in fertile soil. But the secret is not to wait for the outer event to stir the emotion. Most people believe they must see results first before they can feel the joy. But this is the great reversal that keeps them trapped in waiting. The law demands that you feel it first and then see it reflected outwardly. Emotion is creative, it is not merely reactive. To feel joy before the money arrives is to summon the money. To feel love before the partner appears is to summon the partner. To feel victory before the win is to call the win into being. When you sit in silence and affirm, let your whole body participate. Let your heart race with excitement. Let your face smile. Let your chest rise with gratitude. Even if the outer senses show lack, ignore them. The senses report what was, not what is being created. Feeling reports what is real now in consciousness. And consciousness always precedes experience. Do not chase the emotion, generate it. If gratitude feels distant, recall a time when you were thankful and bring that memory alive. If joy feels hard, imagine the relief of having already received what you desire. Let the body taste the victory, let the heart feel the comfort. This act of emotional embodiment is the key that unlocks the invisible vault. Feeling is the secret code, the language creation understands. It does not argue with numbers, statistics, or probabilities. It listens only to the vibration of your heart. When you merge your silent affirmation with genuine emotion, you activate a power that cannot be denied. For what you feel deeply and consistently, you will live. The greatest mistake most people make in their journey of manifestation is obsessing over the how. They want to know the steps, the sequence, the path by which their desire will come to them. But the truth is, the process is never yours to manage. Life has infinite ways to deliver your desire, ways beyond the limits of your reasoning mind. Your role is not to control the process, but to dwell in the end. See the outcome as already complete, and let the details be arranged by the unseen intelligence that governs all things. When you desire a winning ticket, do not waste energy trying to figure out which number, which draw, or which sequence will be yours. Such thinking places you in the realm of doubt and calculation, where your attention scatters and your power weakens. Instead, go straight to the end. Feel the joy of holding the proof in your hand. See yourself celebrating. Imagine the freedom and relief that comes with wealth. In that end, the victory is already yours, and once assumed, the process will naturally fall into place. This principle is evident everywhere in life. A traveler who boards a plane does not sit worrying about how the engine will keep running or how the pilots will navigate the sky. The traveler simply holds the end in mind, the joy of arriving at the destination. Likewise, when you plant a seed in the soil, you do not stay awake at night, wondering how roots will spread or how the sun will interact with the earth. You act. You do not wonder. Everything, you simply water the soil and know the tree will appear. In the same way, your only task is to plant the end in consciousness. The rest is not your concern. The danger of focusing on the process is that it keeps you tethered to the present lack. Every question of how is really a statement of doubt. I don't yet have it, so I must figure out a way. But when you dwell in the end, you bypass lack entirely. You enter into the state of fulfillment where joy is not postponed but experienced now. And it is that state which draws the circumstances into alignment. The process unfolds invisibly, orchestrated in ways you cannot predict, but it always leads to the result you have claimed within. See yourself already at the finish line. Imagine the bank account already full, the life already transformed, the freedom already tasted. Live there in thought, in feeling, in imagination. Do not return to the middle, for the middle only distracts you with unnecessary questions. The end is the seed, and once the seed is alive in consciousness, the tree must appear in time. So discipline your mind. Whenever it drifts to questions of how, gently return it to the vision of done. Rejoice in the end. Claim the joy as if it is present now, for when you see the end clearly and consistently, the process bends itself to make it real. Life has no choice but to fulfill the picture you persist in holding. The end is the cause, the process is only the shadow. Gratitude is more than polite words spoken after receiving something. Gratitude is the language of completion, the signal that says it is done. When you give thanks in advance, you are acknowledging the unseen as though it were already visible. You are not begging, you are not waiting, you are not pleading, you are sealing the manifestation with the certainty of fulfillment. Gratitude is the spiritual stamp that marks your desire as delivered. When you whisper thank you within yourself before there is any evidence, you are not deceiving yourself. You are aligning with truth at a higher level, the truth that what is real in imagination must one day appear in form. Gratitude in this sense is not a reaction, but a cause. Most wait to feel thankful until after their circumstances change. But the true power lies in reversing this order. By giving thanks now, you bring forward the experience of already having received. And life can only mirror back what you embody. Gratitude is powerful because it dissolves doubt. It is impossible to feel deep thankfulness and still entertain worry. Gratitude implies possession. You do not thank someone for what you lack, you thank because you have. Even when appearances suggest otherwise, the act of inner thanksgiving shifts your state from longing to receiving. That state of already having is the only true requirement for manifestation. The moment you genuinely feel it, the world must respond accordingly. Think of gratitude as the final brushstroke on a painting. Imagination creates the image, feeling gives it color, assumption frames it, but gratitude completes it. Without gratitude, the work feels unfinished, hanging in uncertainty. With gratitude, it is signed, sealed, and ready to be displayed. Gratitude tells the subconscious there is nothing more to do. The desire is complete, and once the subconscious accepts it as complete, life sets in motion all the events necessary to reflect it outwardly. Practice this deliberately. Before you buy, before you act, before you step into the outer world, pause in silence and give thanks as if the desire is already in your hand. Say inwardly, thank you for my victory, thank you for my wealth, thank you for my joy. Let the words be warm, let them be real, Let them carry the weight of true possession. The more vividly you can feel this gratitude, the faster the unseen will crystallize into fact. Even when doubts arise, return to gratitude. Doubt says it has not happened. Gratitude replies, it is already done. Doubt looks at circumstances. Gratitude looks at completion. The two cannot live together. Each time you choose gratitude, you weaken doubt's grip and strengthen the reality of your desire. Gratitude seals the manifestation. It closes the gap between the imagined and the experienced. It is your signature of faith, your declaration that you no longer wait, you already own. And once you have sealed it with thanksgiving, you can move forward with peace, knowing the outer world is only catching up to what you have already received within. Every word spoken inwardly, every image you hold, every feeling you sustain is a seed planted in the unseen. You have learned that the inner word creates the outer result, that you must assume possession before the world hands it to you, that silence is the true gateway, that feeling is the secret code, that you must see the end instead of worrying about the process, and that gratitude seals the manifestation as complete. When these truths are lived, life cannot help but bow to the state you embody. What you carry within will harden into fact without birth. Tu kape alion. So as you move forward, remember this. Your reality is not determined by chance, odds, or circumstance. It is determined by the certainty of your inner assumption. Hold the end. Feel it real. Give thanks for it now, and let life arrange itself to match the picture you have sealed in consciousness. Thank you.
To understand how God guides your life, you must first accept that the Creator is closer to you than your very breath, more intimate than any thought. God's guidance isn't something far off, reserved for the special moments. It is woven into the fabric of every day, appearing softly yet unmistakably when you learn to perceive it. In the stillness of your heart lies the voice of God, yet so often this presence is overshadowed by the noise and hurry of the world. We live in a time when silence is scarce, and moments of genuine pause are often overlooked as unproductive or unimportant. However, it is within these quiet spaces that God's guidance is heard most clearly. The Creator does not compete with the din of the outer world. Rather, God speaks in a language of peace, in a whisper that is best heard when you withdraw from distraction and settle into the quiet of your own mind. The practice of silence is not merely a matter of sitting still, but of creating a receptive space within. Imagine your mind as a cluttered room filled with endless thoughts, doubts, and fears. If you are constantly rearranging this clutter, there's no room for new insight. The work of silence is to let go, to clear a space so that something divine can enter. In that receptive state, you begin to sense God's presence, a feeling that has been there all along, waiting for you to be still enough to recognize it. In moments of silence, we find ourselves becoming more aware, more in tune with the flow of life itself. There is an unmistakable peace that comes over you when you allow yourself to settle into this state. This peace is not passive, it is the very essence of divine communication. When you're quiet, God's presence becomes more than a concept, it becomes an experience. You begin to feel a connection to something far greater than yourself, something both intimate and infinite. And as you surrender to that silence, you become open to receiving insights and guidance that are not available to you in the noise of everyday thought. God's guidance does not come as a demand or as a loud declaration. It's more like a gentle nudge, a suggestion that subtly but surely points you in the right direction. This is why silence is essential. It creates the conditions in which you can perceive these gentle directions. In the absence of distraction, your own intuitive knowing, the part of you that is closest to God begins to surface. This is where you find the answers to the questions that have weighed on your heart. Solutions come not from logic, but from a quiet knowing that feels as though it bypasses the mind altogether. For many, the challenge of silence is that it requires trust. Silence doesn't offer the immediate gratification or validation that we've come to expect in our fast-paced lives. But when you learn to trust the silence, to sit with it without expectation, you begin to discover its gifts. Answers may not come immediately or in the way you anticipated, yet they will always come in the form and timing that serves your highest good. And as you practice being still, you find that you're able to carry this awareness of God's presence even as you re-enter the noise of life. In our daily lives, we often seek guidance through external sources, asking others for advice, looking to the world to tell us which way to go. While these sources may provide useful perspectives, they are secondary to the guidance that comes from within. Only you and God truly know the path that is right for you. When you return to the quiet and listen deeply, you tap into that divine knowing, and with it comes a profound sense of peace and certainty. You may not know every detail of the journey ahead, but you will know the next step, and that knowledge alone is often enough. Another gift of God's guidance through silence is that it reminds you of your own completeness. In the busyness of life, it's easy to fall into the belief that you are somehow lacking, that there's something you must attain before you can feel whole. But in silence, in communion with God, you begin to see that there is nothing you lack. You realize that you are already complete, already a part of the divine. This understanding is the foundation upon which you can build a life of purpose and peace. It's natural to feel moments of doubt or frustration when practicing silence. The mind is often restless, bringing up fears, regrets, and desires that can make it hard to settle. But even this restlessness has its purpose, for it allows you to observe the patterns of your thoughts without being controlled by them. As you learn to let go of these mental distractions, you gradually make more room for God's voice to enter. In this way, silence becomes a transformative practice, one that not only helps you hear divine guidance, but also shapes you into someone who walks with a deeper sense of faith and calm. When you understand that God's guidance begins in silence, you begin to see silence itself as sacred. You come to treasure those quiet moments as opportunities to reconnect with the divine within you. It's as though each moment of silence draws you closer to the heart of God, showing you that, despite the noise and uncertainty of life, you are always held, always guided, always loved. And as you cultivate this practice, you'll find that the need for external validation or direction lessens. You become more attuned to your inner compass, more confident in the quiet whispers that nudge you forward. You find yourself walking with a newfound sense of assurance, knowing that you are never truly alone on your journey. In every silent moment, God is there, offering guidance, peace, and unwavering presence. So allow yourself the gift of silence, for in it lies the voice of the divine, ever ready to guide you. There's a mystery woven into every desire you feel, one that goes deeper than mere wants or ambitions. We often think of desires as personal preferences, or even whims, shaped by our experiences or personalities. But in truth, your deepest desires are much more than that. They are whispers from the divine, clues left by a higher intelligence that knows who you are meant to become. These desires are not random, they are signposts, guiding you toward a life that aligns with your unique purpose and potential. When you tune into this, you begin to see your desires as sacred, as subtle reminders from God, directing you to move in harmony with your true self. When a desire first arises, it might feel like a gentle nudge or a quiet pull towards something that excites or intrigues you. You may feel drawn to a particular path, project, or idea without fully understanding why. It is easy to dismiss these feelings as daydreams, to push them aside in favor of more practical pursuits. But what if, instead of disregarding them, you approached each desire with curiosity, with the belief that this feeling, however faint, is a form of guidance? Your desires are not distractions, they are the way God communicates the unique path meant for you. Many people hesitate to embrace their desires because they confuse desire with greed or selfishness. There is often a tendency to believe that wanting more is a sign of ingratitude for what one already has. But genuine desire, the kind that stirs your heart and awakens your spirit, is not born from lack, it emerges from abundance. It arises from a place of knowing that there is so much more within you that seeks expression. This is why desires have a magnetic quality, drawing you to a greater version of yourself, to an experience of life that is richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Consider that every great achievement, every contribution that has lifted humanity, began as a desire in someone's heart. Every artist, visionary, and leader felt a pull towards something that hadn't yet been created. This pull, this feeling of wanting to bring something new into the world, was not selfish, it was a calling. In the same way, when you feel a desire stirring within you, it is the divine reminding you of the potential that lies dormant, waiting to be awakened. It's important to distinguish between fleeting wants and those deeper desires that speak to your soul. Fleeting wants often come and go, driven by external influences or temporary feelings. But the desires that are clues from the divine have a persistence to them. They do not fade easily, instead they linger, growing stronger over time. These are the desires that arise again and again, urging you forward. Even if you try to ignore them, they call to you in quiet moments, whispering of what could be, if only you would listen. Following these desires requires courage, for they often lead you into the unknown. The divine does not reveal every detail of the journey, instead, it offers glimpses, nudging you forward step by step. This is where faith becomes essential, trusting that each desire is guiding you in a direction that serves not only your own growth, but also the greater good. When you pursue these desires, you are not only fulfilling your potential but also contributing to the tapestry of life, adding your unique thread to the whole. Your desires, when followed, become blessings for others, for they inspire, uplift, and make the world a richer place. There will be times when doubt creeps in, when you wonder if these desires are valid, or if you're simply chasing illusions. In these moments, remember that the divine speaks through joy, excitement, and a sense of aliveness. When you think of your desires, notice if they bring a feeling of lightness, a sense of possibility. That feeling is a sign that you are on the right path. The divine does not guide you through feelings of dread or anxiety. It calls you forward through love, joy, and inspiration. Trust in these emotions, for they are the language through which God communicates with you. Many people fear that their desires are impossible to achieve, that they are not worthy of the life they envision. But remember, if God has placed a desire within you, it is because you have the capacity to bring it to life. You do not need to know exactly how everything will unfold. Instead, take the first step, however small, in the direction of that desire. With each step, you will find that doors begin to open, opportunities arise, and people come into your life to support your journey. This is the power of following divine clues. When you trust in your desires, the universe aligns to help you realize them. Embracing your desires also means embracing the growth that comes with them. Each desire will challenge you, asking you to become more than you were before. It will bring up fears, limiting beliefs, and doubts. But this is part of the process. As you confront these obstacles, you shed the layers of self-doubt, emerging stronger and more aligned with your true self. In this way, desires are also tools of transformation, pushing you to evolve into the person you are meant to be. Your desires are God's way of calling you into a greater life. They are reminders that you are connected to something vast and profound, something that knows your potential better than you do. When you honor your desires, you honor the divine within you. You step into the flow of life, moving in harmony with the purpose for which you were created. And as you follow these desires, you find that the journey itself is as fulfilling as any destination. You discover that each desire leads not just to an outcome, but to a deeper understanding of who you are and your unique place in the world. This is the gift of divine guidance, one desire at a time, leading you toward a life of purpose, joy, and profound connection. Imagination is often dismissed as fanciful, something limited to childhood, art, or entertainment. Yet when we look deeper, we discover that imagination is far more than mere fantasy. It is a direct line to something profound, a way in which God speaks to us. Through imagination, we are given glimpses of our highest potential and possibilities beyond our current reality. Imagination, then, is not just a tool for creativity, it is the voice of the divine within us, calling us to move beyond limitations and step into a life aligned with our true purpose. Imagine that every inspired thought, every vision of a better future, every moment of what if is actually God's whisper. These aren't random thoughts or idle wishes, they are signs pointing toward what is possible for you. Through imagination, the divine is gently nudging you toward your own evolution, planting within you the seeds of who you are meant to become. The life you are called to live already exists within you, and imagination is how you begin to see it, even if only in fragments. Consider how imagination opens doors to worlds we cannot yet touch but can feel deeply. When you imagine yourself achieving something that feels distant, or perhaps even impossible, there is an inner thrill, a stirring of the spirit. This is not merely the result of daydreaming, it is a spark of divine inspiration. God's voice does not come as a loud declaration, it arrives softly, appearing as images and feelings that lift your spirit. When you experience these moments of clarity, a sense of knowing that there is more within you waiting to be expressed, you are hearing God's voice. The power of imagination lies in its ability to transcend the limitations of the physical world. When you envision a life filled with peace, success, or joy, you are not limited by what currently exists, you are tapping into a realm of infinite potential. This is where the divine and human connect, where God's voice merges with your own desires, showing you the possibilities that lie within. Imagination allows you to live from a place of faith, to act as though what you envision is not only possible, but already true. Imagination is also a form of guidance, a way to explore different paths without risk. Through imagination, you can test ideas, picture new ways of living, and get a sense of what feels aligned with your soul. In this way, God guides you through images and scenarios that unfold in your mind. You might imagine yourself speaking confidently, succeeding in a career, or building meaningful relationships. These images are not meaningless, they are opportunities to feel your way toward the life that aligns with your highest good. God's voice speaks through these possibilities, urging you to act on them, to bring them from thought into reality. Another essential aspect of imagination as God's voice is that it teaches you to see beyond appearances. In a world that often focuses on what is visible and tangible, imagination allows you to connect with the invisible. You learn to trust in what is felt rather than seen, in what could be rather than what is. This is faith in action, living with the awareness that there is more than meets the eye. Imagination empowers you to move beyond current limitations and trust that something greater is guiding you, even if the steps aren't entirely clear. But imagination alone is not enough, it must be nurtured with belief. To hear God's voice in your imagination, you must let go of doubt and fear. When you see yourself accomplishing great things in your mind, believe in those images. Know that they are not idle fantasies, but invitations from the divine. Doubt is what disconnects us from this guidance, causing us to dismiss imagination as unrealistic or foolish. However, when you trust that what you imagine is a true reflection of your potential, you allow God's voice to guide you through the visions you hold. One of the most beautiful qualities of imagination is that it's always available to you. No matter your circumstances, you can close your eyes and step into a world of possibility. This is a reminder that divine guidance is always accessible. It is not reserved for a select few or for special moments. Every time you turn inward and imagine a better life, you are in conversation with God. You are aligning yourself with the divine energy that wants to see you grow, expand, and reach heights you might not have previously thought possible. God's voice in your imagination is also a reminder that you are never alone in your aspirations. The visions and dreams you hold are not yours alone, they are a collaboration between you and the divine. Every inspired idea, every image of a brighter future is co-created. You are working hand in hand with God to bring forth something new, something that will not only bless your life but will also ripple outward to others. When you follow these divine hints, you become a channel through which God's love and wisdom flow into the world, impacting those around you in ways you may not even see. Imagination also cultivates resilience. When challenges arise, it can be easy to feel discouraged, to believe that obstacles are signs that your dreams are out of reach. Yet, through imagination, you can always return to the vision, reconnecting with the divine energy that inspired you in the first place. By revisiting these images, you rekindle the strength and determination to keep going, to see beyond the present challenge to the promise that lies ahead. This is God's way of reminding you that setbacks are not the end but part of the journey toward fulfillment. Imagination is a sacred dialogue. It is God speaking to you in images, ideas, and feelings, giving you a glimpse of what is possible when you live in alignment with your truest self. When you honor your imagination, you honor the voice of the divine within. You recognize that there is no separation between you and God, that every inspired thought is a gift, a guide, a reminder that you are constantly supported. In this way, imagination is not just a fleeting thought, it is a bridge to the divine, a voice that is ever present, waiting for you to listen, trust, and act on its guidance. Embrace your imagination as the voice of God and let it lead you. It is through imagination that you will discover your purpose, your strength, and your connection to the divine. Trust in what you see, in the life that stirs within your mind, for it is God's way of calling you forward, inviting you to step into a life beyond your wildest dreams. Faith is often spoken of as belief without evidence, yet it is so much more profound than mere optimism or positive thinking. Faith is a deep, unwavering trust in something beyond what the eyes can see or the mind can fully comprehend. It is the bridge between you and divine wisdom, a connection that allows you to access guidance, clarity, and insight from a source greater than yourself. When you live with faith, you open yourself to a world of wisdom that transcends human understanding. You begin to see that faith is not a blind leap but a powerful inner knowing that what you seek is already being guided and orchestrated by the divine. Is the foundation upon which divine wisdom flows into your life. Think of faith as the open door that allows divine insight to enter. Without faith, you close yourself off to the subtle messages, the quiet inspirations, and the moments of insight that can transform your life. Faith is the act of surrendering control, of letting go of the need to know every detail and trusting that you are being led. It is saying, I may not see the entire path, but I trust that each step is revealed in divine timing. When you adopt this perspective, you allow wisdom to come through you, guiding each decision, action, and choice you make. At its core, faith requires humility, a willingness to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers. Faith says, I am open to receive. In a world that often demands certainty and guarantees, faith invites you to rest in the mystery of life, to let go of the need for constant proof and validation. This act of surrender opens you up to divine wisdom that might otherwise be blocked by the noise of doubt and fear. By embracing faith, you create space for the divine to work through you, to shape your life in ways that go beyond your human understanding. Living in faith does not mean ignoring reality, it means seeing beyond appearances. Divine wisdom often speaks through the subtle, the invisible, the intuitive. Faith tunes your awareness to these signals, helping you recognize guidance in places you might otherwise overlook. It is that inner nudge to take a different route, that sudden inspiration that strikes out of nowhere, or the quiet sense of peace that accompanies a choice. Through faith, you begin to see these moments as messages, as wisdom coming directly from the divine. What might appear as coincidences or random events are, in fact, divine guidance aligning you with your purpose. When challenges arise, faith is what sustains you, what keeps you anchored even when circumstances seem chaotic. Challenges often come with uncertainty, pushing us to question, why is this happening? But through faith, you can move beyond the need to understand every aspect of your situation. You learn to trust that every challenge, every obstacle, has a purpose that serves your growth. Faith reminds you that you are always being guided, even in the hardest moments. Instead of resisting challenges, you accept them as opportunities to access deeper wisdom, knowing that each experience brings you closer to who you are meant to be. Faith also allows you to tap into a wisdom that understands the interconnectedness of all things. With faith, you begin to realize that your life is part of a larger tapestry, that each decision and action has meaning beyond what is immediately visible. This awareness brings a sense of peace as you come to understand that you are part of a divine plan, a cosmic unfolding. The divine is always at work, weaving together circumstances, relationships, and experiences in ways that support your highest good. Faith helps you see this interconnectedness, to trust that what is meant for you will always find its way to you. The beauty of faith is that it requires no physical proof to be powerful. It operates in the unseen, the subtle, the inner world. Faith teaches you to rely on your intuition, to follow your instincts, and to listen to the whispers of your heart. It is through these quiet, often overlooked signals that divine wisdom communicates. This wisdom doesn't always come in loud, obvious ways. It may be a gentle feeling, a fleeting thought, or a quiet certainty. Faith sharpens your ability to hear these messages, allowing divine guidance to flow effortlessly into your life. In many ways, faith is an invitation to live with open hands and an open heart, to release the need to control outcomes and trust that what is unfolding is meant for your highest good. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that there won't be challenges. But it does mean that with faith, you are never alone in facing those challenges. You have access to divine wisdom that sees the bigger picture, that knows the end from the beginning. By aligning with this wisdom, you find strength, clarity, and a deep sense of peace, even amid uncertainty. Faith is not passive, it is an active choice to believe in divine timing, in the perfect unfolding of events. Every time you choose faith, you choose to align yourself with a wisdom that surpasses human knowledge. You step out of fear and into trust, out of doubt and into knowing. Faith allows you to move forward, even when the path is unclear, because you trust that each step you take is divinely guided. It is this trust that connects you to wisdom beyond measure, a wisdom that lights the way and assures you that you are exactly where you need to be. Faith transforms your life by shifting your focus from what is temporary to what is eternal. It teaches you that the circumstances of today are just part of a larger journey, that there is always a divine purpose at work. With faith, you learn to see every experience, every interaction as an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to connect with your higher self. Divine wisdom flows most freely into a heart that trusts, that believes, and that knows it is supported. In choosing faith, you choose to live in harmony with this wisdom, allowing it to guide you toward a life of purpose, peace, and profound fulfillment. Every day, life presents us with signs, subtle clues, and hints that offer guidance, reassurance, and insight. These signs are not random, they are messages from the universe, a way of communicating that often goes unnoticed unless we are truly present. Signs are there to remind us that we are not alone in our journey, that there is a higher power, a divine intelligence, subtly directing us toward our purpose, helping us make decisions, and providing comfort during challenging times. Often these signs appear when we least expect them. They might come as a line in a song that resonates deeply, or as a chance encounter that shifts our perspective. They could be as simple as a butterfly landing near you when you're lost in thought, or seeing repeated numbers, like 1111, which many believe signify alignment. While these signs may seem ordinary on the surface, they carry a depth of meaning if we pause to pay attention. Each one of us has an inner guidance system, an intuition that connects us to the divine, helping us interpret these signs in a way that makes sense for our unique path. Signs often come in response to our thoughts, feelings, or prayers. When we're struggling with a decision or feeling uncertain, we may ask for guidance, even subconsciously. It's in these moments that signs appear, as answers to our unspoken questions. A friend might say exactly what you need to hear, or you might stumble upon a book or article that speaks directly to your situation. These experiences are not mere coincidences, they are the universe's way of responding to your inner call for clarity. When you begin to notice and trust these signs, life takes on a new sense of flow. as if a guiding hand is gently steering you in the right direction. One of the most powerful aspects of these signs is their ability to reassure us during times of doubt or fear. Life's journey is rarely a straight path. It's filled with twists, turns, and moments of uncertainty. In these times, signs remind us that we're supported and that everything is unfolding as it should. A person might find a feather in their path, for instance, which some interpret as a reminder that they're not alone. Others might notice recurring symbols or numbers that have personal meaning. These signs serve as gentle nudges, whispering, "Trust the process. You are exactly where you need to be." To truly notice these signs, we must cultivate presence. In a fast-paced world filled with distractions, it's easy to miss these subtle messages. But by slowing down, tuning in, and becoming more mindful of our surroundings, we start to notice things we may have previously overlooked. Meditation, journaling, or simply taking quiet moments in nature can open us up to the world around us, making it easier to recognize when a sign appears. When we are present, our intuition becomes sharper, guiding us toward understanding the meaning of the signs in our lives. Sometimes we may feel frustrated or impatient when signs don't seem to be appearing, especially when we're seeking guidance on an urgent matter. But even the absence of signs can carry meaning. It might be an invitation to turn inward, to rely on your own wisdom, and take a leap of faith. Divine guidance doesn't always come through external signs. It can also come through the still, quiet voice within. Trust that if you don't see a clear sign, you still have the ability to make the right choice, as inner guidance is always available. There are also moments when signs come in abundance, as if the universe is emphatically confirming a direction or decision. During these times, it may feel as though everywhere you look, there is some reminder or clue that nudges you in a particular way. This kind of synchrony, where everything aligns effortlessly, is often a sign that you are on the right path. When you experience these synchronicities, take it as encouragement to keep moving forward with faith and confidence. The universe is reflecting your alignment, letting you know that your actions are resonating with your purpose. It's also important to remember that signs are not meant to control your life or make decisions for you. They are guides, gentle suggestions, or reminders. Ultimately, you have free will and the power to choose your own path. Signs are there to help, to provide clarity, and to align you with the energy of the universe, but they do not replace your intuition or your ability to make decisions. They simply make the journey easier, showing you options, possibilities, or areas that might need attention or healing. As you grow more aware of these signs, you may notice that they start to show up more frequently. This isn't because the signs are new, they've been there all along. It's simply that your awareness has expanded, allowing you to perceive the messages that were always available. This process of attunement deepens your relationship with the divine, strengthening your faith and helping you feel more connected to a world beyond the physical. Signs are a reminder of the mystery and magic woven into everyday life, an invitation to live in harmony with the universe. So the next time you see something that resonates deeply, take a moment to pause, reflect, and consider its significance. Trust that these signs are here to guide, reassure, and support you. Embrace them as part of the beautiful dance between you and the divine, a continuous conversation that unfolds as you walk your path. In these small, sacred moments, you'll find that life is always speaking to you, gently guiding you toward your purpose, and reminding you that you are never alone. Imagine living each day with the unwavering belief that you are already guided by a force far greater than yourself. To live as though guided already means to trust so deeply in the presence of divine wisdom in your life that you no longer question each step, but walk with confidence, clarity, and peace. This kind of living requires more than intellectual understanding. It asks for a complete surrender to faith, to the notion that your life is unfolding in perfect harmony with a higher plan. When you embrace this perspective, your daily existence transforms from one of doubt and struggle to one of flow and alignment. Living as though guided already means acting from a place of inner knowing, trusting that every experience, no matter how challenging or unexpected, is part of a divine design. When you trust this way, you release the constant need to control outcomes. You are no longer driven by fear or a sense of lack, for you know that what you seek is already on its way to you. Every action, every thought, and every decision becomes infused with a sense of purpose and ease. This does not mean that you are passive or without ambition. Instead, you pursue your goals with a calm confidence, knowing that each step forward is leading you exactly where you need to go. When you live as though guided, challenges no longer appear as obstacles or setbacks. Instead, you see them as opportunities for growth and refinement, a part of the journey that enhances your strength and wisdom. Trusting that guidance is ever present allows you to view difficulties as teachers, each one imparting a valuable lesson. Rather than resisting or fearing change, you lean into it, understanding that everything has a purpose. This shift in perspective brings resilience, as you recognize that nothing is truly working against you. Life, in all its twists and turns, is always moving you forward, leading you closer to your highest potential. Acting with the belief that you are already guided brings a profound sense of peace. When you trust that a higher intelligence is directing your steps, you can let go of the relentless worry that often accompanies decision-making. Choices that once seemed daunting become more manageable, as you realize that even if you make a wrong decision, it will ultimately lead you to the right place. This sense of inner peace frees you from overthinking, from the need to weigh every possible outcome. Instead, you listen to your intuition, knowing that the guidance within you is always aligned with your true path. Living as though guided already also enhances your ability to be present. So often we are consumed with thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future, missing the beauty of the present moment. But when you trust that guidance is with you, you allow yourself to fully engage with the now. Each experience becomes more vivid, more meaningful, as you understand that this moment, right here, is exactly where you are meant to be. Presence allows you to see and appreciate the subtle ways in which guidance unfolds, often in the simplest, most unexpected details of daily life. Embracing this belief requires a shift in mindset, a shift from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, and from doubt to trust. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that we are alone in our journey, that we must rely solely on ourselves. But when you begin to see yourself as guided, you understand that there is a constant flow of wisdom, energy, and support available to you. You no longer feel the need to compete or struggle, as you trust that what is meant for you will come in due time. This faith in divine timing dissolves the anxiety of not enough and replaces it with a deep sense of sufficiency. To live as though guided also means to follow your inner voice, that quiet, persistent feeling that nudges you towards certain actions or decisions. This voice may be subtle, often drowned out by the noise of doubt or external opinions. But when you trust that you are guided, you honor this inner knowing, recognizing it as the voice of the divine within you. Every time you follow this guidance, you strengthen your connection to it, building a relationship of trust with your own intuition. Over time, this inner guidance becomes more pronounced, more reliable, helping you navigate life with a clarity that no external source can provide. Living with this deep sense of guidance also means embracing patience. Often our desires and dreams take time to manifest, and it is easy to become frustrated or disheartened. But when you believe that you are already guided, you understand that everything is unfolding in perfect timing. You let go of impatience, knowing that every delay has its purpose, every waiting period its lesson. This patience allows you to remain calm and centered, trusting that what is meant for you will arrive precisely when it's meant to. In this way, you find contentment in the journey itself, rather than obsessing over the destination. Living as though guided already means allowing your actions to stem from love, rather than fear. When you trust in divine guidance, you operate from a place of compassion, kindness, and understanding, knowing that each person you encounter is also on their own guided path. This perspective fosters a sense of unity and empathy, as you realize that we are all interconnected, all moving toward our highest potential. Love becomes the motivating force behind your actions, leading you to a life that not only fulfills you but also contributes positively to the lives of others. In this way, Living as though guided already transforms your life from one of struggle to one of surrender, from scarcity to abundance, and from fear to love. It is an invitation to step into the flow of divine wisdom, to trust that you are always being supported and directed toward your highest good. This way of living doesn't promise a life without challenges, but it does promise a life of meaning, peace, and fulfillment. It reminds you that you are part of a grander design, a cosmic plan in which every experience, every relationship, and every moment is part of your unfolding purpose. With this faith, you walk each day with open hands and an open heart, ready to embrace the journey, knowing you are guided, protected, and deeply loved. Surrendering to divine timing is an invitation to let go of control, to release the need to know exactly when and how things will unfold, and to place your trust in a wisdom far beyond your own. This act of surrender is not about passivity or abandoning your dreams. It's about aligning with the rhythm of the universe, which operates in perfect harmony and timing. When you surrender to divine timing, you are not giving up your goals or desires. Instead, you are choosing to believe that there is a season and a reason for everything. It's an understanding that what is meant for you will come to you, and it will arrive at precisely the right moment, neither too early nor too late. Divine timing invites us to accept that we are not always able to see the full picture. Our perspective is limited by the immediate present and the desires we hold in our hearts. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, orchestrates events and experiences that are often beyond our comprehension. Sometimes this wisdom may guide us to wait when we are ready to move forward or hold us back when we feel impatient. Trusting in divine timing requires a level of faith and humility, an acknowledgement that the universe's plan might differ from ours, but is ultimately for our highest good. In moments of delay or uncertainty, it's easy to feel frustrated or even disheartened. We may feel as though we are standing still while others are moving forward, or that life is somehow passing us by. But these periods of waiting are not wasted. Divine timing teaches us that every season of life has value, even those where there appears to be no visible progress. During these times, we are given the opportunity to cultivate patience, resilience, and faith. These qualities strengthen our character, preparing us for the blessings that lie ahead. What we often view as delays are actually periods of preparation. When we embrace this perspective, we can find peace and purpose even in the waiting. The process of surrendering to divine timing also invites us to release the idea of control. As humans, we are conditioned to believe that control over circumstances equates to security and success. However, true security comes not from controlling outcomes, but from trusting in a plan that transcends our understanding. When we let go of the need to control, we create space for the universe to work in unexpected and often miraculous ways. By stepping back, we allow a higher power to step in, directing us toward opportunities and experiences we may not have even considered. This relinquishing of control is not a sign of weakness, but of profound inner strength and wisdom. Surrendering to divine timing also helps us cultivate gratitude in the present moment. When we are constantly fixated on the future or worried about when our desires will manifest, we miss the beauty and blessings of the present. Divine timing encourages us to trust that everything we need in this moment is already here. It reminds us that each phase of our journey holds its own lessons, joys, and experiences. By finding gratitude for where we are right now, we shift our focus from what is missing to what is already abundant in our lives. This attitude of gratitude raises our vibration and brings us into greater alignment with our desires, allowing things to flow more naturally. One of the most powerful aspects of divine timing is the synchronicity it brings into our lives. When we surrender to this natural flow, we begin to notice that things fall into place effortlessly. People, opportunities, and events come into our lives just when we need them, as if orchestrated by an unseen hand. This synchronicity is a clear sign that we are aligned with the flow of the universe. Rather than forcing things or struggling against the current, we allow ourselves to be guided. In these moments, life feels easier, and we experience a sense of peace and clarity that confirms we are on the right path. Surrendering to divine timing also means trusting in the wisdom of no or not yet. Sometimes we receive answers or outcomes that are different from what we expected or desired. In these moments, it can be difficult to understand why certain doors remain closed or why certain paths are blocked. However, divine timing assures us that each no or delay is a redirection, a way of protecting us from situations or experiences that are not aligned with our highest good. By trusting in this wisdom, we free ourselves from disappointment and open up to even greater possibilities. It's important to remember that surrendering to divine timing does not mean becoming passive or inactive. Surrender is not the absence of effort, it is the presence of trust. We still take inspired action toward our dreams, but we do so with an open heart, willing to release attachment to specific outcomes. This balanced approach allows us to co-create with the universe, contributing our effort while remaining open to how things unfold. Divine timing respects our free will, guiding us gently while allowing us the freedom to choose and act. Our role is to remain receptive, to listen to our intuition, and to act when we feel called, trusting that each step is taking us closer to our destiny. Surrendering to divine timing ultimately brings a sense of peace that cannot be achieved through striving or forcing. This peace comes from knowing that there is a purpose to every experience, a reason behind every event. We learn to let go of the when and how, and instead embrace the mystery of the journey. Life becomes a dance with the divine, a partnership based on trust, love, and mutual respect. As we release our attachment to rigid timelines, we find ourselves more present, more joyful, and more fulfilled. We come to understand that life is not just about achieving goals, but about growing, evolving, and discovering our true selves along the way. Surrendering to divine timing is an act of profound faith. It's a commitment to living with trust, knowing that the universe is always working on our behalf. It is an invitation to let go of the burden of control and to live in a state of open-hearted receptivity. By aligning with divine timing, we step into a flow that carries us effortlessly toward our highest potential. We realize that we are supported, guided, and loved every step of the way. Surrendering to divine timing allows us to embrace life as a journey of becoming, a journey that unfolds perfectly and beautifully, one moment at a time. In embracing divine timing, we open ourselves to a life of trust, surrender, and peace. Rather than clinging to control, we learn to flow with the wisdom that guides each moment, knowing that every delay and every encounter is purposeful. By releasing our need to know the when and how, we allow the universe to lead us toward experiences that shape us, strengthen us, and bring us closer to our highest selves. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up on our dreams, it means believing that our dreams are unfolding in perfect harmony with a greater plan. Thank you for journeying into this understanding of divine timing. May you find comfort in trusting that what is meant for you will arrive at precisely the right moment, and that you are always being gently guided toward your greatest good. God does not guide you to solitude to punish you or deprive you of company. No, He brings you into a space of aloneness to free you, to reveal the magnificence that lies within, untouched and unshaken by the opinions, beliefs, or limitations of others. In the quiet of solitude, you find the most profound revelations about yourself and the nature of life itself. It's an experience that, although initially unsettling, reveals itself to be a sacred space where the clamor of the world falls away, leaving only the essence of who you truly are. Solitude is where life's greatest answers emerge, for when all the noise and distractions are stripped away, the divine within you finally has a voice. There's a reason that solitude has been sought by sages, mystics, and prophets across all ages. It's not that they wish to escape life, but rather to understand it more deeply. They recognize that the deepest truths cannot be found in the words of others or in the routines of the world. These truths live within you, waiting patiently for you to turn inward and listen. Solitude offers the gift of self-awareness. It is the fertile ground where seeds of insight and wisdom take root and grow. When you're alone, you no longer feel the need to conform to others' expectations or opinions. You're free from the masks and roles that daily life imposes. In solitude, there's no need to perform, to please, or to gain approval. Instead, you begin to meet the real you, the unguarded, raw version of yourself that is rarely visible. This might be uncomfortable at first, as you face parts of yourself that you may have long avoided or denied. Yet, this is the very essence of healing. Only by recognizing every part of yourself, both the light and the shadow, can you begin to understand the power that lies within. As you settle into the quiet of solitude, you realize that it is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the fullness of your own presence, and it is sacred. Alone, you start to perceive things that are otherwise drowned out by the demands and distractions of everyday life. You become more attuned to your feelings, your desires, and your inner voice. You begin to understand what you truly want, what you genuinely need, and where your true values lie. This is something the noise of the world rarely allows you to see clearly. Solitude lets you shed the layers that society has placed upon you, and in doing so, you reconnect with your own essence. Through solitude, you also build resilience. When you learn to be alone, you learn to rely on yourself. This isn't a matter of closing yourself off from others. It's about discovering an inner strength that makes you more grounded and self-sufficient. The world often tries to convince you that your strength comes from the people around you, from relationships, possessions, or achievements. But true strength arises from within. When you spend time in solitude, you start to see how capable you are, how much inner resourcefulness you hold. This inner strength transforms how you approach life, giving you a sense of stability that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Solitude is also where your creativity flourishes. In the quiet, you create space for new ideas, fresh insights, and inspiration. Creativity is often stifled by the constraints of daily routine, by the constant input from the outside world. But in solitude, your mind is free to wander, to imagine, to envision without limits. The world has been shaped by those who had the courage to embrace solitude, those who dared to turn inward and bring forth ideas and creations that did not yet exist. This quiet space allows you to tap into the divine source of inspiration, to become a co-creator in your own life. And yet, solitude is not simply about finding answers or cultivating strength. It's also about building a relationship with the divine. When you are alone, there are no distractions to pull you away from the spiritual truths within. You begin to feel a connection with the infinite, an awareness of the divine presence that resides within you. You realize that solitude is not truly solitude, it is communion with a higher source. It is here that you feel loved, guided, and supported in ways that no external relationship could replicate. Embracing solitude also teaches you the art of letting go. When you spend time alone, you realize how much of your energy has been invested in things outside of yourself, in places and people that perhaps no longer serve your growth. Solitude invites you to release these attachments, to let go of what is no longer aligned with your true path. This is a liberating process. In solitude, you find that peace isn't about adding things to your life, but about shedding what is unnecessary. You begin to live more simply, more authentically, and with a deeper sense of fulfillment. The journey into solitude is not one of isolation, it is one of transformation. It is a return to your own wholeness, a journey back to the sacred truth that you are enough. In solitude, you find that the peace, strength, and wisdom you once sought outside yourself have always resided within you. As you embrace being alone, you realize that you are never truly alone. You are supported by a divine presence connected to the whole of creation. The power of solitude lies in this realization. It is the discovery that within you exists everything you need, and in that understanding, you find true freedom. In moments of solitude, you find a hidden reservoir of strength within yourself, of power that only becomes apparent when the outer noise fades and you are left with your own essence. Discovering inner strength isn't merely a process of building resilience or becoming self-reliant. It is a journey to uncover the divine power within you, a journey that transforms you in ways you may have never thought possible. When life places you in situations where you have no one to turn to but yourself, you often come face to face with this inner strength for the first time. These are the moments when you may feel alone, unsupported, or even vulnerable. Yet it is precisely in these moments of perceived vulnerability that you begin to access a deeper strength. This strength is not something external that you must acquire, it is something intrinsic that you must uncover. It has been within you all along, quietly waiting for you to recognize it. Many of us live under the illusion that our strength comes from external sources, our families, our relationships, our jobs, our achievements. These can indeed provide support, but they are not the foundation of who we are. True strength doesn't rely on external conditions, for it is born from a place that is unshakable, untouchable by the temporary events and circumstances of the world. Inner strength is your core, the essence that remains steady and whole regardless of what happens around you. Discovering this strength requires you to release your attachment to external validation and to learn to look within. The journey to inner strength begins with self-trust. So often we doubt our own abilities, questioning whether we are truly capable of handling life's challenges on our own. This doubt weakens our perception of ourselves, creating a false dependency on others. However, when you learn to trust yourself, you begin to see that you possess the resources to overcome obstacles, to create solutions, and to stand firmly on your own. Self-trust is the foundation of inner strength, for it is the faith that you can rise to any challenge and thrive, not because of others, but because of who you are. Then becomes an essential part of this journey. When you spend time alone, you confront your own thoughts, your fears, and your doubts. You might feel uncomfortable or even fearful at first, as the silence reveals parts of yourself you have kept hidden. But as you sit with yourself, as you observe these feelings without judgment, you begin to see that you are not defined by your fears. Beneath every fear is a strength waiting to be acknowledged. This is where inner strength is born, not from denying your fears, but from facing them and realizing that they do not control you. As you delve deeper into this inner strength, you start to release the need for others' approval or validation. You understand that your worth does not depend on anyone else's opinions, that it is not tied to your achievements or the roles you play. This recognition frees you, allowing you to live authentically and confidently. When you no longer need validation from others, you are empowered to make choices that are aligned with your true self. This inner alignment is a profound source of strength, for it means that you are no longer swayed by the changing tides of public opinion or external expectations. You become anchored in a place of self-assurance and peace. Another aspect of discovering inner strength is recognizing the resilience you have accumulated through your life experiences. Every challenge you have faced, every hardship you have overcome, has contributed to the depth of your strength. Even the moments when you felt weak or defeated were not indicators of a lack of strength, but rather stepping stones in its development. When you reflect on these experiences, you see that your strength has always been present, quietly growing through every trial, expanding with every setback. This is why adversity is often a catalyst for inner growth. It draws forth strength you might not have known you possessed. The beauty of inner strength is that it's not about harshness or rigidity. It is about a quiet, steady resilience. True strength does not require you to be unfeeling or stoic. Rather, it allows you to feel deeply, to live fully while remaining grounded. Inner strength enables you to be vulnerable, to connect with others, and to experience the fullness of life without fear of being overwhelmed. It is a strength that is flexible, adaptive, and compassionate, allowing you to embrace life's highs and lows with equal grace. Inner strength also opens the door to your own potential. When you trust in your abilities and are no longer bound by self-doubt, you find that there is far more you are capable of achieving than you once believed. You begin to pursue dreams you had set aside, to take risks you once feared, and to live a life that reflects your true desires. This is the ultimate gift of inner strength, the freedom to be yourself, to live authentically, and to manifest your highest potential. As you discover your inner strength, you realize that you are never truly alone, for this strength is a connection to something greater than yourself. It is a divine power, a sacred presence within that guides, supports, and sustains you. This realization fills you with a sense of peace and security, for you know that no matter what life brings, you have within you the strength to rise. Inner strength is not just a personal trait, it is a testament to the divine essence within you, a reminder that you are powerful beyond measure. Dependence often begins innocently. From childhood, we are taught that it's natural to rely on others, family, friends, society, institutions. We learn that our safety, happiness, and even our self-worth are somehow tied to these connections. And while relationships and community are essential parts of human experience, an illusion can creep in, an illusion that we are incomplete without these external attachments, that we need others' approval, validation, and support to feel whole. Breaking free from this illusion of dependence is not about isolation or detachment. It's about reclaiming your inherent power and understanding that everything you truly need is already within you. The journey of breaking illusions of dependence begins with self-awareness. Many people go through life unconsciously holding on to relationships, habits, or beliefs that are rooted in the fear of being alone or unsupported. This fear is powerful. It convinces us that we cannot survive on our own, that our identity and value come from external sources. We cling to these attachments seeking security and affirmation, not realizing that they may actually be limiting us. This illusion of dependence keeps us from recognizing our inner strength and discovering who we truly are beyond the roles we play or the expectations others place upon us. When you begin to see this illusion for what it is, you start to understand the subtle ways in which it affects your decisions and emotions. Perhaps you find yourself seeking constant reassurance from others, or feeling anxious when you don't receive the validation you're used to. You might notice how often you conform to others' expectations, even when they don't align with your true desires. Each of these patterns stems from the belief that something outside of you is necessary for your happiness or worth. But when you step back and observe these tendencies, you begin to question, what if I am enough as I am? What if my worth is not dependent on anyone else? As you start to release these dependencies, you come face to face with the discomfort of letting go. Breaking free from the illusion of dependence can be challenging because it requires confronting fears of inadequacy and loneliness. These are not easy feelings to face, and for many the instinct is to resist or ignore them. But true growth lies in embracing this discomfort, allowing yourself to sit with these fears without judgment. By doing so, you begin to see them for what they are: temporary emotions, not truths. You realize that the feeling of incompleteness is not a reflection of who you are. It's a product of conditioned beliefs that you are finally ready to shed. In this process of letting go, you discover a profound sense of freedom. When you stop relying on others to define your value, you experience a lightness, a liberation from the weight of others' expectations. This newfound freedom allows you to make choices based on what resonates with your authentic self, rather than what pleases or impresses others. You start to trust your intuition more deeply, finding guidance from within instead of constantly seeking advice or approval from outside sources. This self-trust is empowering. It shows you that you are capable of navigating life's challenges on your own terms. Breaking the illusion of dependence also leads to healthier, more balanced relationships. Paradoxically, when you stop needing others to complete you, you become a better partner, friend, or family member. This is because you are no longer approaching relationships from a place of lack or neediness. Instead, you are able to give freely and receive openly without clinging, knowing that your happiness does not hinge on any one person or circumstance. Relationships rooted in mutual respect and love flourish when dependence fades, as they are free from the strain of unrealistic expectations. Another aspect of breaking this illusion is recognizing that material possessions and external achievements do not define your worth. Society often encourages us to equate success with accumulation, whether of wealth, status, or accolades. But as you let go of dependence on these external symbols, you find a deeper source of contentment that is not tied to fleeting accomplishments. Your sense of self becomes anchored in something unchanging, your own inner value, which exists independently of external circumstances. So, this shift allows you to pursue goals and dreams from a place of inspiration rather than pressure, making the journey itself fulfilling, regardless of the outcome. You may also find a closer connection to the divine or the universal spirit within you. When the distractions of dependence fade, you become more attuned to the quiet wisdom within, the intuitive voice that has always been there, guiding you. This inner connection provides a source of strength and support, that is far more powerful and enduring than anything external. You realize that you are not alone, you are part of a larger, interconnected whole that sustains you in ways no individual relationship or achievement ever could. Letting go of dependence is not about rejecting help or isolating yourself. It's about recognizing that at your core you are whole, complete, and capable. It's about understanding that while relationships, achievements, and material comforts can enrich your life, they do not define it. You have everything you need within you, the wisdom, strength, and love to face any situation that comes your way. When you break free from the illusion of dependence, you open yourself to a life of true empowerment and authenticity. You become a person who chooses relationships and experiences not out of need, but from a place of genuine connection and joy. This is the power of independence, a life that is built on self-trust, inner peace, and the unshakable understanding that you are enough, just as you are. Self-realization is the profound journey of discovering who you truly are beyond the layers of identity shaped by society, expectations, and even your own mind. At the core of this journey lies a divine connection, a sacred, inner relationship with the universal spirit or divine presence within you. This connection is the key to understanding your true nature, your infinite potential, and the peace that exists at the center of your being. Self-realization through divine connection is not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you have always been beneath the distractions and illusions of the external world. From an early age, we are taught to seek identity and worth from outside ourselves. We are conditioned to believe that our value is tied to our achievements, relationships, and possessions. But true self-realization requires us to look beyond these external markers and connect with something much deeper, the essence of who we are as spiritual beings. This essence, often referred to as the divine self, is the unchanging, eternal part of you that exists beyond the mind and body. It is the part of you that remains untouched by life's highs and lows, grounded in the knowledge that you are a manifestation of a greater universal power. To embark on the journey of self-realization through divine connection, you must first cultivate awareness. Awareness is the foundation of spiritual growth. It begins by observing your thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, understanding that you are not defined by them. This is a crucial step because in becoming aware of the patterns of the mind, you create distance between who you truly are and the identity created by the mind. In this space, you begin to sense a greater presence, a divine consciousness that exists within you, waiting to be recognized. This is the first encounter with your true self, a glimpse of the divine connection that underlies your existence. As you deepen this awareness, meditation becomes an invaluable tool. Meditation allows you to quiet the mind, dissolving the constant stream of thoughts that often clouds your perception. In the stillness of meditation, you can feel a profound sense of peace, a peace that is not dependent on any external factor. This peace is the essence of divine connection. It is the recognition that within you lies a wellspring of calm, wisdom, and love that is always accessible, regardless of life's circumstances. In these moments, you realize that the divine is not something outside of you, it is the very foundation of your being. Through divine connection, self-realization also brings a shift in perspective about the nature of life itself. You begin to understand that life is not something happening to you, but something that is flowing through you. This realization allows you to see yourself as a co-creator with the divine, an active participant in the unfolding of your own existence. You realize that every thought, belief, and intention shapes your reality. With this awareness, you begin to take responsibility for your own experience, knowing that you have the power to shape your life in alignment with the divine will within you. Another profound aspect of self-realization through divine connection is the dissolution of fear. So much of human experience is dominated by fear of failure, loss, rejection, or the unknown. But when you are connected to the divine, you recognize that your essence is eternal, that nothing in the material world can diminish your true self. This understanding frees you from fear, for you know that you are supported by an infinite power that transcends all worldly limitations. As fear dissolves, you are liberated to live authentically, guided by your inner truth, rather than by the dictates of others. As you deepen your connection with the divine, your sense of self expands to encompass a greater love and compassion for all of life. You see that every being is an expression of the same divine essence, that the love within you is a reflection of the universal love that permeates all of existence. This realization naturally leads to a life of compassion, kindness, and empathy, as you understand that the separation between yourself and others is an illusion. In recognizing the divine within you, you also recognize it within everyone you encounter, fostering a sense of unity and harmony with the world. Self-realization through divine connection reveals that you are not merely a limited, physical being, but an embodiment of divine consciousness, a unique expression of the infinite. This understanding transforms how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. You no longer feel the need to search outside for happiness or validation, for you understand that true fulfillment lies within, in the boundless love, peace, and joy that is your divine nature. Life becomes less about acquiring and achieving, and more about expressing and expanding this divine essence within you. Self-realization is a journey without an end, a continual unfolding of deeper layers of truth. Each step brings you closer to the awareness that you and the divine are one, that your life is a sacred journey of discovering and expressing this oneness. In this realization, you find the ultimate freedom, a freedom not dependent on circumstances or possessions, but on the unshakable knowledge of who you truly are. As you live from this place of divine connection, your life transforms into a reflection of the peace, wisdom, and love that is your true self. Liberating yourself from the need for validation is one of the most transformative shifts you can experience. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to seek approval from those around us, parents, teachers, friends, colleagues, and even society at large. We learn to measure our worth by how others perceive us, creating a habit of looking outside ourselves for a sense of belonging, importance, and value. But this reliance on external validation can become a subtle prison, one that limits our self-expression, clouds our judgment, and prevents us from fully embracing who we are. But true liberation lies in breaking free from this need and finding an unshakable sense of self-worth that exists independently of others' opinions. The journey of liberating the self from validation begins with self-awareness. Often the need for validation is so deeply ingrained that we might not even realize how much it influences our decisions, thoughts, and actions. For instance, we may find ourselves hesitating to share our ideas or make bold choices, fearing rejection or judgment. We may constantly adjust our behavior, seeking approval, hoping others will acknowledge our worth. This pattern keeps us in a cycle of seeking and reacting, which ultimately makes our happiness contingent on something outside ourselves. However, the moment we become aware of this pattern, we take the first step toward freedom. Awareness gives us the power to observe these habits without judgment, seeing them for what they are, learned responses that no longer serve us. As we gain awareness, we begin to understand that our worth is intrinsic. It does not depend on anyone else's validation because it comes from within. This shift in understanding is powerful, as it helps us recognize the illusion that others hold the key to our self-worth. No one else can define your value because value is not something that fluctuates based on outside opinions. It is an inherent quality of who you are. Embracing this truth liberates you from the need to constantly perform or prove yourself. You realize that you are enough as you are, and that your unique qualities are valuable regardless of whether others acknowledge them. Breaking free from validation also involves facing the fear of rejection. Often the need for validation is rooted in a deep-seated fear of being judged, dismissed, or excluded. This fear can create anxiety and lead us to conform to others' expectations, even when they don't align with our authentic selves. But when we learn to confront this fear, we realize that rejection is not a reflection of our worth. It is simply an indication that our path, our thoughts, or our values may not resonate with everyone, and that is perfectly okay. By embracing rejection as a natural part of life, we free ourselves from the pressure to be universally liked or accepted. We give ourselves permission to be authentic, even if that means standing alone at times. Cultivating self-trust is another essential part of this journey. When you trust yourself, you no longer feel the need to look outside for guidance or reassurance. Instead, you turn inward, relying on your own intuition and wisdom to make decisions. Self-trust means listening to your inner voice and honoring your values, even if others may not understand or agree with them. This inner guidance is a steady foundation that grounds you, making you less susceptible to others' opinions. As you develop self-trust, you become more confident in your choices, knowing that your value does not depend on validation, but on your alignment with your own truth. Liberating yourself from validation also fosters greater resilience. Life will inevitably bring moments of criticism, disapproval, and misunderstanding. When you rely on validation for your sense of self-worth, these moments can feel crushing, as though your value is being called into question. But when your worth is rooted in self-acceptance, you become less affected by external opinions. You realize that no one else has the power to define you, and you are free to learn and grow from feedback without taking it personally. This resilience allows you to pursue your passions, express your ideas, and follow your path with courage, knowing that criticism cannot diminish your inherent worth. As you release the need for validation, you also open the door to authentic relationships. When we seek approval, we often show others only the parts of ourselves that we think will be accepted or praised. This creates a filtered version of who we are, which can prevent true connection and understanding. By embracing your authentic self, without the need for validation, you allow others to see you as you are, flaws, strengths, and all. This honesty encourages deeper, more genuine relationships, as you attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the image you project. Liberating yourself from validation brings an inner freedom that is both empowering and peaceful. You no longer feel the constant pull to seek approval, nor the anxiety of wondering if you are enough. Instead, you feel a quiet confidence, a knowing that your worth is complete and undiminished by others' opinions. You become free to live according to your values, your passions, and your truths, creating a life that reflects who you truly are. This is a life of self-acceptance, where you are no longer swayed by external validation, but are guided by your own inner compass. In embracing this journey, you discover that the only validation you truly need is your own. This inner approval is the foundation of self-love and fulfillment, allowing you to experience a profound sense of peace and liberation. When you no longer look to others to define your worth, you are free to be yourself fully, to express your unique gifts, and to create a life that resonates deeply with your soul. Holds a profound and often overlooked purpose in the process of manifestation. In solitude, the mind quiets, distractions dissolve, and the space within us becomes fertile ground for intention, vision, and focus. Though aloneness is often seen as loneliness, it serves a far deeper purpose when we shift our perspective. Aloneness is the place where we connect to our innermost desires, align our thoughts with our truest self, and nurture the visions we wish to bring into reality. It is a sacred space where creation begins, undisturbed by the noise of the outer world. To manifest powerfully, one must learn to embrace this space as the bridge between intention and reality. When we are alone, we gain clarity about what we truly want without the influence of others' expectations or opinions. In the presence of others, even subconsciously, we tend to alter or adjust our desires to fit into what's deemed acceptable or desirable by those around us. This can dilute the purity of our intentions, making them less potent for manifestation. In solitude, however, we are free to explore what truly resonates with our soul. This clarity is essential, for the universe responds not to vague wishes but to desires that are deeply felt and clearly defined. When you know exactly what you want, undistorted by external voices, your desire gains a powerful magnetism that draws it closer to you. Aloneness also strengthens our connection to the inner self, the part of us that is in constant alignment with the universe's flow. In this state, we access the still, small voice within, our intuition. This inner guidance is essential in the manifestation process, as it provides subtle yet powerful insights and nudges that steer us toward our desires. Often these insights can be drowned out by the constant activity and noise of life, but in solitude, they emerge with clarity. The more time we spend in quiet aloneness, the more we develop trust in this voice. In this way, solitude becomes not only a tool for manifestation, but also a source of profound personal guidance. Furthermore, the energy required for manifestation is amplified in solitude. When we are alone, we can focus our mental, emotional, and spiritual energy on a single vision. In the presence of others, our energy often disperses, divided between various conversations, thoughts, and emotional exchanges. In aloneness, however, our energy becomes like a laser, intensely focused and directed toward our goals. This concentrated energy is essential for manifestation, as it fuels our intentions and sends a clear signal to the universe about what we want to create. Just as a magnifying glass focuses sunlight to create fire, our concentrated energy in solitude ignites the manifestation process. Aloneness also allows us to cultivate patience, an often undervalued component of manifestation. When we are alone, we learn to sit with our desires without feeling the need to immediately act or seek reassurance from the outer world. This stillness teaches us that creation is a process that unfolds in its own time. By resisting the urge to rush or control outcomes, we surrender to the universe's timing. This surrender is not passive, it's a powerful statement of trust that the universe is orchestrating circumstances for our highest good. In solitude, we practice this trust, learning to wait with calm assurance rather than anxious expectation. Patience, born in solitude, becomes a silent force that accelerates manifestation by allowing us to release resistance and align fully with our desires. Another essential purpose of aloneness in manifestation is the opportunity for visualization. Visualization is the mental practice of creating a vivid image of what we desire, feeling as though it is already ours. In solitude, the mind becomes a canvas, free from distractions and interruptions, where we can paint the picture of our desired reality in vibrant detail. Through this practice, we infuse our desires with emotion, making them feel real and attainable. Visualization aligns our inner world with the frequency of our desires, drawing them closer. When alone, we can immerse ourselves in this practice, deeply connecting with the emotions and sensations of having already achieved our goals. This internal alignment is a powerful catalyst for bringing dreams into the physical world. Aloneness fosters resilience and independence, qualities that are crucial on the path to manifestation. Manifesting desires often requires us to hold on to our vision, even when outer circumstances seem unchanged or even opposed to our goals. In solitude, we learn to rely on our own inner strength, rather than seeking validation or encouragement from others. This resilience enables us to persist, to continue believing in our dreams, regardless of external evidence. When we cultivate inner strength in aloneness, we become unwavering in our commitment to our desires, and this unwavering belief sends a strong signal to the universe that we are ready to receive. Then is not a state to be feared or avoided, but a powerful space of creation and connection. In solitude, we clear away distractions, sharpen our focus, and align deeply with our intentions. We access our inner wisdom, gather our energy, and commit ourselves to our vision with undivided attention. By embracing aloneness, we create a sacred environment within ourselves where manifestation can take root and flourish. In the stillness, we discover that we are our own source of strength, clarity, and inspiration. And it is from this grounded, centered place that our desires flow effortlessly into reality. Embracing aloneness is, ultimately, embracing the creative power that lies within us all, a power that, when harnessed, makes anything possible. In conclusion, the power of aloneness in manifestation is undeniable. It is within the quiet, undisturbed space of solitude that we find clarity, focus, and an authentic connection to our deepest desires. By embracing this time alone, we tap into an inner reservoir of strength and wisdom, learning to trust ourselves and align our intentions with the universe. Solitude sharpens our vision, strengthens our patience, and fuels our resilience, making us not only stronger but more attuned to the creative force within us. When we liberate ourselves from external influences and allow ourselves to be fully present with our own intentions, we step into a space of unlimited potential where anything is possible. Thank you for allowing yourself to explore the transformative purpose of aloneness. Embrace it, for it is the sacred ground upon which dreams take root and flourish. Thank you. To find oneself alone can be a startling revelation. Yet it is in solitude that a man is gifted with the rarest opportunity to discover the depths of his own power. For it is here, in silence, away from the voices and opinions of others, that he begins to unearth the hidden parts of his nature, the untapped potential waiting to be summoned. A man with no friends, no circle of companions, often feels as if he has been left behind or excluded. But in truth, he stands at the precipice of self-realization. Solitude, when embraced, becomes a passageway to inner strength. The journey into self-reflection begins with a withdrawal from the need for social validation, a shift that can initially feel disorienting, but ultimately reveals a profound inner truth. Society often teaches us to seek our worth in the opinions and approvals of others, encouraging us to find value in how well we fit in, how liked or accepted we are. But what happens when we begin to seek that validation from within, when we turn inward to truly understand ourselves? In choosing self-reflection over social validation, a person embarks on the transformative journey of self-knowledge, a journey that leads to a strength beyond comparison. When we cease to rely on others to define our worth, we release ourselves from the binds of comparison and conformity. We no longer need to mirror the beliefs or values of those around us, nor do we have to strive to meet external expectations that may not align with our true nature. This liberation marks the beginning of self-reflection. It's a deliberate, courageous choice to question and understand our own beliefs, desires, and motivations. In place of constantly seeking approval, we start to look within, uncovering layers of conditioning that may have masked our authentic selves. The pull of social validation is powerful. It offers an immediate sense of acceptance and belonging. But it is also fleeting, often requiring us to mold ourselves in ways that don't honor who we truly are. The validation we receive from others can only touch the surface of who we are, as it often reflects their own needs, beliefs, and biases rather than our own truth. When we step away from this external feedback loop, we create space for genuine self-inquiry. We begin to ask ourselves profound questions. What do I truly believe? What makes me feel alive? What are my own values, independent of those around me? Self-reflection is not a passive or superficial activity. It requires honesty and vulnerability. It demands that we look at ourselves fully, acknowledging both our strengths and our flaws without the distortion of social influence. This type of reflection often reveals truths we may have ignored or suppressed for the sake of fitting in. We may uncover desires that don't align with societal expectations, or values that set us apart from the crowd. It's in this moment of revelation that true empowerment begins, for we start to live from a place of authenticity rather than social conformity. In the process of self-reflection, we begin to discern between what we truly value and what we have been told to value. This distinction is crucial, as it allows us to live from a foundation of inner truth. No longer do we waste energy chasing achievements or validation that don't fulfill us. Instead, we become guided by a sense of purpose that is rooted in our own essence. As we gain clarity, we become more resilient, no longer swayed by the shifting opinions of others. We stand firm in our identity, unafraid to live authentically even if it means standing alone. Self-reflection, however, is not always comfortable. It asks us to confront parts of ourselves that we may have hidden or denied. We may encounter fears, insecurities, or past mistakes that we have avoided acknowledging. But it is through this confrontation that we gain the opportunity to heal and grow. Rather than seeking social validation to distract us from these inner challenges, we face them directly, cultivating self-compassion and resilience. We learn to accept ourselves fully, recognizing that our worth is not dependent on the approval of others, but rather on our own acceptance of who we are. Through self-reflection, we begin to see that our value is inherent, unchanging, and independent of any external factors. We start to understand that the opinions of others, no matter how positive or negative, cannot touch the core of who we are. This realization is deeply freeing, as it allows us to move through life without the need for constant reassurance or validation. We become self-assured, confident in our own judgment and choices. This confidence does not stem from arrogance but from an inner knowing that we are enough just as we are. As we cultivate this inner validation, we become more grounded in ourselves. We find that our happiness, fulfillment, and peace come from within rather than from the approval or praise of others. Social validation may still come, but it is no longer our primary source of worth. Instead, it becomes a pleasant addition to our lives, a reflection of the inner contentment we have cultivated. We are no longer dependent on it, for we have found a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment within ourselves. Self-reflection also fosters a deeper connection to our intuition. Without the noise of external validation clouding our minds, we can hear our inner voice more clearly. This voice, which is often drowned out by societal expectations, becomes our most trusted guide. We begin to act in alignment with our true selves, making decisions that resonate with our own values and desires rather than those imposed upon us. This alignment brings a sense of ease and harmony to our lives, as we are no longer in conflict with ourselves or trying to please others at the expense of our own happiness. Self-reflection over social validation leads us to a place of true empowerment. We become unshakable, no longer swayed by the judgments or opinions of others. We walk our own path with confidence and grace, secure in the knowledge that we are enough. This inner validation brings a lasting sense of peace and fulfillment that no amount of social approval could ever provide. We become whole within ourselves, and in that wholeness we find a freedom that is both profound and enduring. In the quiet moments of solitude, a man may begin to sense a presence within himself that feels deeper, wiser, and infinitely peaceful. This presence, often hidden beneath the busyness of daily life and the endless chatter of the mind, is the spark of a divine connection. It is a relationship with something that is at once beyond himself and yet profoundly within him, a connection to a higher, timeless reality that has always been there, waiting to be discovered. This divine connection, when nurtured, becomes a source of profound strength and peace, far surpassing anything the external world can offer. The journey into this divine relationship can feel mysterious, even elusive. The mind is accustomed to focusing outward, constantly seeking gratification, answers, and purpose from the world. Yet, through moments of introspection, meditation, or quiet reflection, the man begins to sense that this outer search leads only to temporary satisfaction, a cycle of highs and lows that never brings lasting fulfillment. He starts to feel an urge to look within, not in search of another fleeting pleasure, but for something eternal, a deeper truth, a boundless love, an abiding peace. And in this inner seeking he finds a new dimension of himself, a connection to the divine. As he spends time in this sacred inner space, he comes to understand that he is not alone. There is a part of him that transcends the physical, a spark of the divine that connects him to something far greater than himself. This divine connection reveals to him that he is more than a body, more than a personality shaped by his life experiences. He is, in essence, a spiritual being, one with the very source of all life. This revelation shifts his perspective, freeing him from the limitations he once felt bound by. He no longer sees himself as small or separate, for he understands that he is part of a vast, interconnected web of divine energy and consciousness. With this awareness, his relationship with the world begins to change. Where once he sought validation from others, he now finds it within. The divine connection offers a wellspring of unconditional love, a love that does not waver based on his achievements or failures. It is a constant presence, an inner embrace that reassures him that he is worthy, valuable, and deeply loved. He learns to lean on this inner relationship in times of challenge, finding solace and strength within himself rather than in the fleeting comfort of external sources. This divine presence becomes his anchor, a foundation of unwavering peace that remains no matter what storms may arise. In time, he realizes that this divine connection also grants him access to a profound inner wisdom. There is a voice within, a quiet yet powerful intuition that guides him, nudging him toward choices that align with his highest good. This voice is not loud or insistent, it does not argue or demand. It is a subtle knowing, a gentle guidance that speaks through feelings of peace, clarity, and conviction. As he learns to trust this inner guidance, he finds himself making decisions with a sense of ease and confidence that he had never known before. He no longer feels lost or unsure, for he knows that he is being led by a wisdom far greater than his individual mind. This connection also brings with it a profound sense of purpose. He begins to understand that his life is not a random series of events, but a carefully orchestrated journey designed to bring him closer to this divine essence within himself. Every experience, every relationship, every moment of joy and pain becomes part of a larger tapestry, a spiritual unfolding that deepens his connection to the divine. He sees his life not as something he must control or force into a particular shape, but as a sacred journey of self-discovery, a path that reveals more of the divine presence with each step. As his awareness of this divine connection grows, so does his capacity for compassion and love toward others. He sees that the same divine spark within him exists within every person he encounters. This recognition dissolves the barriers of judgment and separation, allowing him to see others with an open heart and an understanding that transcends differences. He no longer feels the need to compete or compare, for he knows that each person is on their own unique journey toward realizing the same divine truth. This sense of unity brings a deep peace to his interactions, a harmony that enriches his relationships and allows him to give freely without fear of rejection or loss. In moments of stillness, he finds that this divine connection fills him with a profound joy, a joy that is not dependent on any external circumstance. It is a joy that arises simply from being, from knowing that he is part of something infinitely beautiful and eternal. This joy becomes his refuge, his source of inspiration, and his guiding light. No matter what happens in the outer world, he knows that this divine presence is with him, a constant source of comfort, strength, and love. Through this divine connection, he has come to know himself in a way he never thought possible. He sees that he is not merely a man with worldly concerns, but a spiritual being on a sacred journey, one with the divine source of all life. This awareness transforms his life from the inside out, filling it with a sense of meaning, peace, and purpose that no external achievement or relationship could ever provide. He walks through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that he is guided, loved, and supported by a power far greater than himself. This divine connection is his greatest treasure, a relationship that sustains him, nourishes him, and fulfills him in every way. It is an unbreakable bond, a sacred union that nothing in the outer world can diminish. And in this divine connection he finds his true home, an inner sanctuary of love, wisdom, and peace that remains with him always, lighting his path and filling his heart with a joy that endures forever. Loneliness is a feeling often viewed as something to be avoided or escaped. Yet, beneath its surface lies a hidden gift, the opportunity for deep personal mastery. To master loneliness is not simply to overcome or suppress it, but to understand, embrace, and transcend it, transforming it into a source of strength, resilience, and insight. Those who achieve mastery over loneliness come to know themselves on a profound level, building an unshakable foundation of self-reliance, self-compassion, and inner peace. The journey begins with a willingness to face loneliness directly, rather than numbing or distracting oneself from its discomfort. Modern life offers countless distractions to escape this feeling, from social media to endless entertainment, all promising temporary relief, but none offering lasting fulfillment. Mastery over loneliness requires turning away from these distractions and sitting with the solitude, allowing oneself to fully experience its depths. This initial stage can be challenging, as it often brings up feelings of vulnerability, insecurity, and even fear. Yet within this discomfort lies the beginning of true self-discovery. As one sits with loneliness, the mind may begin to quiet, allowing deeper reflections to surface. One begins to question, who am I when I am alone? What am I without the roles and validations that society offers? In the absence of others' input, we are left with only ourselves, a mirror of who we truly are. This solitude offers a rare opportunity to explore one's beliefs, values, and desires independently of external influence. In this quiet space, we can see the aspects of ourselves that are often overshadowed by the noise of daily life, the parts of ourselves that seek not approval, but authenticity. Self-reliance grows stronger. Instead of seeking comfort and validation from others, we learn to find it within. We develop the ability to soothe ourselves, to address our own needs and support our own well-being. Mastery over loneliness teaches us that we are complete as we are, that we possess within ourselves the strength, wisdom, and compassion necessary to navigate life's challenges. This self-sufficiency does not mean shutting oneself off from others. Rather, it means we no longer depend on external sources for our sense of worth and stability. We become whole, grounded in an inner strength that can withstand any storm. This mastery also nurtures a profound sense of self-compassion. When we face loneliness with an open heart, we inevitably confront our own vulnerabilities and insecurities. In the silence, we may recall painful memories or times when we felt unworthy or unloved. Yet, instead of turning away, we learn to hold these experiences with kindness. We recognize that loneliness is a universal feeling, one that connects us to the shared human experience. By showing compassion to ourselves in moments of solitude, we cultivate a gentleness that becomes a balm for our soul, allowing us to carry that same compassion into our relationships with others. Mastery over loneliness also brings about a heightened sense of awareness. When we are alone, free from distractions and societal roles, we become attuned to subtleties within ourselves and the world around us. We notice our own patterns of thought, our habitual responses, and the underlying motivations that drive our actions. This awareness is invaluable, as it enables us to make conscious choices rather than being led by unconscious habits or impulses. We gain a clarity that is unclouded by the opinions and expectations of others, allowing us to act in alignment with our true values and purpose. Through this process of self-awareness and reflection, loneliness begins to transform. It is no longer a void to be filled, but a space of potential. It becomes an invitation to create, to dream, and to envision. Many of history's great thinkers, artists, and innovators spent significant time alone, drawing inspiration from their solitude. In mastering loneliness, we too gain access to this wellspring of creativity. With no need to impress or conform, we are free to explore our own ideas, to cultivate our passions, and to pursue our interests with undivided attention. Loneliness, once a source of discomfort, becomes a sanctuary where our creativity and inner wisdom can flourish. As we continue to develop this mastery, we come to understand that loneliness is not inherently negative. It is simply a state of being, one that we can approach with openness and curiosity rather than resistance. In reframing loneliness as an opportunity for growth, we free ourselves from the fear of being alone. We no longer see solitude as something to be avoided, but as a valuable aspect of life, a space where we can rest, recharge, and reconnect with our own essence. The transformation that results from mastering loneliness is profound. We emerge with a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. This peace is unshakable because it is rooted in a deep understanding and acceptance of ourselves. We no longer feel the need to seek constant companionship or external validation because we have learned to be at ease in our own presence. We carry within us a quiet confidence, a knowing that we are complete as we are, capable of facing life's challenges with grace and resilience. This mastery allows us to approach relationships from a place of fullness rather than need. When we are at peace within ourselves, we can engage with others authentically, without clinging or seeking fulfillment through them. We become capable of giving love freely, without fear of rejection or abandonment, for we know that our sense of self is not dependent on anyone else. Relationships become enriching experiences rather than sources of validation, adding beauty to our lives rather than defining our worth. In mastering loneliness, we unlock a profound freedom. We are no longer bound by the fear of solitude or the need for external affirmation. Instead, we walk through life with a steady, grounded presence, knowing that we are whole within ourselves. This mastery transforms loneliness from a source of pain into a path of self-discovery, resilience, and inner peace. It allows us to live with a sense of purpose, clarity, and fulfillment that can only come from within. Through this journey, we become our own sanctuary, our own source of strength, and our own guiding light. Self-sufficiency is a powerful quality, a form of independence that comes not only from practical capability, but also from a deep-seated confidence in one's own abilities and resources. It is the knowledge that regardless of external circumstances or the presence of others, you possess within yourself the means to meet life's challenges. True self-sufficiency goes beyond merely taking care of physical needs. It encompasses emotional, mental, and spiritual independence. It is the understanding that your sense of well-being, peace, and stability originates from within, unshaken by the external ebb and flow of life. At its core, self-sufficiency begins with self-trust. This trust is cultivated by consistently meeting your own needs and solving your own problems. When you rely on your abilities and make decisions without constantly seeking validation from others, you gradually build a sense of internal security. Each step taken independently reinforces your confidence, showing you that you are indeed capable. Rather than second-guessing your every choice or doubting your worth, you learn to stand firm in your convictions and take responsibility for your actions. This inner trust is essential to self-sufficiency, as it becomes the foundation upon which you build a resilient, independent life. Emotional self-sufficiency is perhaps the most transformative aspect of this journey. While society often emphasizes the importance of relationships for happiness, emotional self-sufficiency allows you to experience joy and contentment from within, independent of others. This does not mean isolating yourself or avoiding relationships. Rather, it means cultivating an inner reservoir of emotional well-being that is not reliant on external validation. In times of loneliness or uncertainty, you turn inward, nurturing yourself instead of seeking comfort outside. You learn to process your emotions, to be your own source of empathy, encouragement, and kindness. This inner self-care frees you from unhealthy dependencies and equips you to enter relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. Mental self-sufficiency is another integral part of this independence. It involves developing the ability to think critically, to question, and to form your own beliefs and values. In a world where opinions are readily influenced by media, social circles, and cultural norms, mental self-sufficiency encourages you to stand firm in your own perspective. It's about cultivating an independent mind, one that is not easily swayed or reliant on popular opinion. Instead of being led by external pressures, you develop a clear sense of purpose and values that guide your actions. This strength of mind allows you to approach decisions with clarity and confidence, knowing that you are guided by your own inner compass rather than by the ever-changing standards of society. Spiritual self-sufficiency may be the most profound and subtle of all, for it connects you to an inner source of peace, strength, and purpose that transcends external circumstances. This form of independence is about finding a sense of meaning within yourself, a connection to something greater that provides a deep, unshakable sense of belonging and direction. Whether through meditation, self-reflection, or simply quiet moments of introspection, spiritual self-sufficiency allows you to anchor yourself in a higher truth, knowing that your value and purpose are intrinsic. You are not constantly seeking answers or validation outside of yourself, but instead turn inward, trusting in the wisdom and guidance that emerges from within. Self-sufficiency manifests in daily habits and actions. It may look like developing skills that allow you to take care of your own needs, from cooking to financial planning, or even basic repairs. Every skill acquired reinforces the idea that you are capable of meeting your own needs and navigating challenges. This practical self-sufficiency is empowering because it lessens your dependence on others and systems. When you can meet your basic needs independently, you reduce fear and uncertainty, knowing you can thrive on your own. This confidence extends into all areas of life, as you realize that you are resourceful enough to adapt and find solutions to whatever situations arise. Self-sufficiency does not mean closing oneself off from others. It means you are free to enter relationships not out of necessity, but from a place of choice and abundance. You do not rely on others to fill voids within you. Instead, you bring your wholeness to every interaction. You become a source of support rather than someone constantly needing support. This shift transforms your relationships, making them healthier, more balanced, and more fulfilling. When both individuals come from a place of self-sufficiency, there is mutual respect and freedom, allowing each person to thrive independently while also benefiting from the connection. Developing self-sufficiency requires a willingness to face discomfort and to take responsibility for one's life. It demands a shift away from victim mentality and toward a perspective of empowerment. Instead of blaming external circumstances or waiting for others to provide, self-sufficiency encourages you to seek solutions within. It's about taking full ownership of your happiness, growth, and well-being. This ownership may feel daunting at first, but it is the key to lasting independence and peace. When you stop depending on others to fix your life, you unlock a powerful freedom, realizing that your destiny is shaped by your own choices, efforts, and mindset. It also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times of difficulty and change. Those who have developed self-sufficiency are better equipped to navigate these challenges because they have learned to rely on their own strengths. They are adaptable, resourceful, and less shaken by unexpected events. They know that, regardless of what comes, they have within them the capacity to endure and to rebuild. This resilience not only allows them to survive tough times, but also to thrive, turning challenges into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Self-sufficiency is a path to freedom. It frees you from the limitations of dependency, from the fear of abandonment or rejection, and from the need for constant validation. When you are self-sufficient, you know that you are complete as you are, capable of meeting your own needs and finding fulfillment within. This independence does not isolate you, but rather empowers you to engage with the world more fully. You are able to give without expecting in return, to love without needing approval, and to pursue your passions without fearing failure. You live life on your own terms, guided by your own inner wisdom, and grounded in a profound sense of self-worth. Self-sufficiency is not simply an achievement, it is a way of being, a state of mind that liberates you to live authentically with courage, peace, and joy. Freedom from attachment is one of the most transformative forms of liberation a person can experience. Attachment, in this context, is not about genuine love or connection, but rather the clinging and dependency on people, things, and outcomes to feel complete or secure. When we base our happiness, identity, or worth on something outside of ourselves, we become bound to it. To be free from attachment is to cultivate a state of inner peace that remains undisturbed by life's inevitable changes. It is about releasing the need for external validation, control, and certainty, and discovering that true contentment comes from within. Attachment often stems from a sense of lack or insecurity. When we feel incomplete or uncertain of our worth, we may look to external sources, relationships, possessions, status, or achievements to fill that perceived void. These attachments become intertwined with our identity, shaping how we view ourselves and the world. The more tightly we cling to these attachments, the more fragile our sense of self becomes, because it is based on circumstances beyond our control. We end up fearing loss or change, as they threaten to unravel the very foundation upon which our happiness and identity rest. This dependency fosters a mindset of scarcity, where fulfillment is always conditional and never truly guaranteed. But to begin breaking free from attachment, one must first recognize the impermanence of all things. Nothing in life is fixed or everlasting. People, circumstances, and material possessions come and go, as do emotions, desires, and even thoughts. Understanding this truth encourages us to embrace life's transience rather than resist it. When we accept that everything is in a constant state of flux, we begin to release the unrealistic expectation that something external can offer lasting happiness or security. Instead, we learn to appreciate each moment, relationship, or achievement as a fleeting experience, allowing us to enjoy it fully without clinging to it. One key element in achieving freedom from attachment is cultivating self-awareness. Attachment often operates unconsciously, rooted in old beliefs, fears, or conditioning that lead us to believe we need something to feel whole. By examining these inner motivations, we uncover the underlying causes of our attachments. Perhaps we believe that without a certain job or status, we lack value, or that without a relationship, we are incomplete. These beliefs drive our attachment and ultimately our suffering. Through self-reflection and mindfulness, we gain insight into these patterns, allowing us to question their validity and to detach from them. Detachment, however, does not mean apathy or indifference. It is not about disconnecting from life or avoiding relationships and goals. Rather, it is about approaching these aspects of life with an open heart and a clear mind, without placing the burden of our fulfillment upon them. We can still love deeply, pursue our dreams, and build meaningful connections, but we do so from a place of inner security. When we are free from attachment, we are no longer trying to control or possess. Instead, we learn to flow with life. We are fully present, experiencing each moment without the need to cling or grasp, trusting that whatever comes or goes is part of a larger harmony. This freedom from attachment brings a profound sense of peace. No longer are we held captive by fear of loss or disappointment. We no longer need to cling to specific outcomes or manipulate situations to feel secure. Instead, we cultivate an internal stability that is not affected by external circumstances. This inner peace creates a sense of wholeness, allowing us to live with a quiet confidence that we are enough as we are. When we are no longer trying to complete ourselves with attachments, we become lighter, more flexible, and more resilient. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure, a journey of self-discovery and growth. Freedom from attachment allows for greater authenticity in relationships. Often, our relationships suffer because of our need to possess or control. Attachment can create expectations, fears, and dependencies that prevent us from truly loving and accepting others as they are. When we detach, we are able to appreciate others without seeking to own or change them. We give them the freedom to be themselves, and we offer our love without condition or agenda. This creates relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, free from the distortions of jealousy, fear, or dependency. Practicing gratitude can also help us release attachment. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we think we lack to what we already have, fostering a sense of abundance. By appreciating the people, experiences, and things we currently have, we reduce the desire to grasp for more. We start to see the beauty and richness in the present moment, rather than fixating on future desires or past regrets. This gratitude encourages us to live fully in the now, enjoying each experience without the need to possess or cling to it. Perhaps the most liberating aspect of freedom from attachment is the discovery of self-sufficiency. When we let go of our dependencies on external factors, we uncover a deeper source of fulfillment within ourselves. We begin to realize that our true happiness and peace come from within, from our own inner alignment, rather than from any external possession or relationship. This realization is empowering, as it reminds us that we already have everything we need within us to be content. We are no longer slaves to circumstance, we become the creators of our own experience. Freedom from attachment is not about renouncing the world or avoiding desires. It is about transforming our relationship to them. It is about engaging with life fully, but without the weight of dependency. It is about letting go of the need to control and trusting in the natural flow of life. As we learn to release our attachments, we find a sense of joy and peace that is not dependent on any external factor. We become free to live, to love, and to explore, unencumbered by fear or desire. This is the true liberation of the spirit, a state of being where one is fully present, fully alive, and fully at peace with whatever unfolds. Inner peace is a unique form of companionship, one that remains unwavering and present, regardless of external circumstances. Often we look to friends and relationships to provide comfort, reassurance, and understanding. While relationships can be fulfilling, there is another source of friendship available to each of us, a friendship with ourselves, built upon inner peace. This friendship is not conditional, it doesn't fluctuate based on others' actions or circumstances. It's a steadfast presence that offers the same qualities we often seek from friends: acceptance, support, and understanding. In nurturing inner peace, we cultivate a loyal companion within, an inner ally that provides us with strength, wisdom, and resilience. The first step in embracing inner peace as a form of friendship is learning to truly accept ourselves. With friends, we often feel safe and accepted, flaws and all. Inner peace brings a similar, if not deeper, level of acceptance. To achieve this, we must let go of harsh self-judgment and become more compassionate towards ourselves. This does not mean ignoring areas of growth, but rather approaching them with understanding and kindness rather than criticism. When we stop trying to fit ourselves into others' expectations or worrying about how we appear to the world, we begin to settle into a state of ease. This self-acceptance creates a quiet joy and contentment that feels like being in the company of a supportive friend. Inner peace also means finding comfort in solitude, a skill that many people struggle to develop. In a world that often glorifies constant interaction, it can be easy to feel uncomfortable when alone. However, when we develop inner peace, solitude transforms from a state of loneliness into one of companionship with ourselves. We begin to appreciate quiet moments and to see solitude as an opportunity for self-reflection, relaxation, and reconnection with our inner world. In these moments, we cultivate a deep and abiding friendship with ourselves, one that is just as enriching and fulfilling as time spent with others. We no longer rely on external distractions to fill a void. Instead, we find satisfaction in simply being present. To foster inner peace as friendship, it is essential to listen to ourselves with the same attentiveness we would offer to a close friend. Just as we would lend an ear to a friend's concerns, we must learn to listen to our own thoughts and emotions without dismissing or repressing them. Inner peace grows from understanding and validating our own experiences. When we are upset or anxious, it's an opportunity to check in with ourselves, to offer comfort and understanding rather than impatience or avoidance. By honoring our inner experiences, we build a relationship with ourselves that feels trustworthy and safe. We know that whatever arises, we are capable of facing it with a calm, steady presence. Inner peace also brings a sense of encouragement, which is another hallmark of friendship. True friends are often there to lift us up, to remind us of our strengths and potential when we doubt ourselves. Developing inner peace allows us to become that encourager for ourselves. Instead of harsh self-talk, we begin to speak to ourselves with a voice of encouragement and positivity. We recognize our value and our strengths, acknowledging our achievements and learning from our mistakes without spiraling into self-criticism. This compassionate inner voice becomes a source of motivation and resilience, reminding us that we are always capable of moving forward, even when the path feels uncertain. One of the most profound aspects of inner peace as friendship is the stability it provides. External friendships, while rewarding, are inherently subject to the fluctuations of life. People change, circumstances shift, and relationships can grow apart. But when we cultivate a friendship with ourselves, we establish a stable and enduring relationship that we can rely on at any moment. Inner peace does not waver based on others' actions or opinions. It is a steady foundation that remains with us through all of life's ups and downs. This sense of stability is invaluable, as it gives us a constant source of grounding and calm, regardless of the challenges we may face. As inner peace grows, it transforms how we interact with others. When we are at peace within, we bring a calm, balanced energy into our relationships. We no longer depend on others for validation or happiness, allowing our relationships to become more genuine and less burdened by unmet expectations. Instead of needing friends or loved ones to complete us, we can enjoy their presence from a place of fullness and self-sufficiency. Inner peace allows us to be more understanding, less reactive, and more present with those around us. We are free to give love without fear or dependency, creating relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and acceptance. Furthermore, the friendship of inner peace brings a sense of joy that is not reliant on external circumstances. Often we turn to friends to lift our spirits, to distract us from life's difficulties, or to provide entertainment. But with inner peace, Joy arises naturally from within, independent of outside factors. It's a quiet, steady contentment that fills our moments, whether we are alone or with others. This inner joy is different from the fleeting happiness that comes from external sources. It's a lasting state of well-being that comes from knowing we are whole as we are. This joy allows us to live more fully in each moment, savoring the richness of life without constantly seeking more. Inner peace as friendship ultimately leads us to greater self-awareness and growth. In friendship with ourselves, we are open to learning from our experiences, embracing challenges as opportunities to deepen our understanding. We reflect on our actions, choices, and beliefs with a gentle curiosity, willing to grow and change without judgment. This ongoing self-discovery is one of the most fulfilling aspects of inner peace. It allows us to continually evolve, nurturing a relationship with ourselves that is ever deepening and enriching. Inner peace as friendship is a journey towards self-compassion, resilience, and joy. It is a relationship that provides all the qualities we seek in a friend: acceptance, understanding, encouragement, stability, and joy. When we cultivate inner peace, we carry within us a constant source of comfort and companionship, a relationship that remains strong and unwavering through all of life's changes. By nurturing this inner friendship, we become our own source of strength, capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and calm. This friendship with ourselves is a gift, a wellspring of peace that allows us to walk through life with confidence, balance, and a heart that is truly at ease. In embracing inner peace, as a true friendship, we cultivate an unwavering source of strength, joy, and resilience that remains with us through life's every season. This inner companionship, built on self-acceptance, understanding, and encouragement, becomes a sanctuary, a steady presence that fills our lives with calm and balance. Rather than depending on external circumstances or validation, we find fulfillment within, giving us the power to navigate life with grace, compassion, and authentic happiness. When we nurture this relationship with ourselves, we become our own best ally, capable of loving others fully and engaging with the world without losing our center. Thank you for listening, and may your journey to inner peace bring you the deepest friendship you could ever know.